Hello everyone, this is our next lecture on the topic measure of central tendency. In last lecture, we saw how to calculate quartiles for discrete frequency distribution and for continuous frequency distribution. So for discrete frequency distribution means individual observation along with frequencies are given, means this type of data. If observations are 10, 20 and their respective frequencies are 5, 3, means single observation along with frequency, means this type of data is given. Then the formula for Q1 or lower quartile, it is the value of n by 4th observation. Means we have to choose that less than type cumulative frequency which is just greater than the value of n by 4th observation. The value means that value which is just greater than n by 4th value is the value of Q1, that is lower quartile value. Then Q2 or median is the value of n by 2th observation. Means for this we have to choose that value of that less than type cumulative frequency which is just greater than n by 2th observation. And for Q3 or upper quartile, it is the value of 3n by 4th observation. Means for Q3 it is the value we have to choose the value of cumulative frequency which is just greater than 3n by 4th observation. So in this way we can calculate the quartiles for discrete type of distribution. If the observation are in continuous form, then the formulas for quartiles are Q1 or lower quartile is given by Q1 is equal to L plus n by 4 minus Cf upon F into H, where L is L is lower limit or lower boundary of the Q1 class. Means our first step is we have to locate our Q1 class, and Q1 class is located from this value, that is the value of n by 4. Means the value of, we have to check the cumulative frequency which is just greater than n by 4 is our Q1 class. So in this formula, L is lower limit or lower boundary of the Q1 class. Cf is the cumulative frequency just preceding the class, and F is the frequency of that class. H is a class width. Class width is calculated as upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. Similarly, the formula for Q2 or median is Q2 is equal to L plus n by 2 minus Cf upon F into H, where L is lower limit of Q2 class, Cf is the cumulative frequency of the preceding class, F is the frequency of that class, and H is a class width. And Q3 or upper limit is given as Q3 is equal to L plus 3n by 4 minus Cf upon F into H. Means after deciding Q3 class, L is the lower limit of Q3 class, Cf is the cumulative frequency of the preceding class, F is the frequency of that class, and H is a class width. So by using these formulas, we can calculate quartiles for the continuous frequency distribution. Now in this lecture we will see how to draw quartiles by using the graphical method. In previous lectures we already saw how to draw a median and how to draw a mode by using the graphical method. Median can be drawn by using the Ogive curves and mode can be drawn by using the histogram. The procedure for quartiles by using graphical method is same as that of median. Means for quartiles we have to draw the Ogive curve. So first step is we have to draw a less than Ogive curve by taking the values of the variable and upper class boundaries on x-axis and less than frequencies on y-axis. After that we have to locate our Q1 classes, that is our quartile classes, that is Q1 class, Q2 class and Q3 class on y-axis. And from this point we have to draw a parallel line to x-axis to meet the less than type Ogive curve. Means like this. Suppose this is our n by 4 value. So our first step is we have to locate the n by 4 value on the y-axis. Then after locating the n by 4 value, draw a line parallel to the x-axis to meet the Ogive curve. Then after that, from this point of intersection, draw a perpendicular line to the x-axis, and this point of intersection of the perpendicular line and x-axis is known as the value of q1. Means for q1, our first step is we have to locate the n by 4 value on the y-axis. Then from that point draw a parallel line to the x-axis to meet at the ogive curve, and from this point of intersection draw a perpendicular line to the x-axis, and this point where this perpendicular line and x-axis meet is the point, this point is known as q1 value, that is lower quartile value. Similarly for q2 or median value, our first step is we have to locate the n by 2 value on the y-axis. Then from this value we have to draw a line parallel to the x-axis to meet the ogive curve. Then from this point of intersection draw a perpendicular line to the x-axis, and this point of intersection of perpendicular line and x-axis is the value of q2, or that is the value of median. Similarly for the q3 or upper quartile value, locate the value of 3n by 4 value on the y-axis. Then from this value draw a parallel line to the ogive curve, and after that draw a perpendicular line to the x-axis, and this point of intersection is known as the q3 value or upper quartile value. In this way we can calculate the quartiles by using the graphical method. Our next topic is box plot, and it is also known as whisker plot. It was introduced by American statistician John Turkey in 1977. So in descriptive statistics, it is a convenient way of graphical representation of numerical data through 5-number summaries. 5-number summary means the smallest observation, lower quartile Q1, median Q2, upper quartile Q3 and the largest observation. Means to represent these 5 values on the same diagrammatic representation, we use the box plot. And it is plotted like this, means it can be drawn horizontally or vertically. So the first value is minimum value, after that Q1, Q2, Q3 and last value is maximum value. All these values are given, and if they are not given we can calculate Q1, Q2, Q3 by using the formulas of lower quartile, median and upper quartile. So in box plot the first value is the minimum value, then the Q1 value, after that locate Q2 value, then Q3 value and the last value is maximum value. Therefore the box plot is a quick graphic for examine one or more data sets. Box plots are more primitive technique than histogram. Then the uses of box plot is it gives the idea about symmetry and spread of the data. It also gives idea about how the observations are clustered around the median in each part of the data. They take less place, therefore they are useful for comparing distribution between several groups or data set. So the main function of box plot is they are representation, they gives representation of numerical data through their 5-number summaries, that is smallest observation, lower quartile, median, Q3 and largest observation. For the summary of these 5 numbers we draw the box plot. Our next topic is measure of dispersion. Until now we have discussed various measure of central tendency, that is arithmetic mean, median, mode and partition values, which gave us the idea of concentration of the observations about the central part, and each of them was a unique number to represent the entire distribution. But these measures alone are not sufficient to describe the distribution, because if we are given only the averages we cannot get the complete idea about the distributions. There may be 2 or more distribution having same central value, but the distribution may be different from each other in number of ways. For example, suppose we have to given the data of 3 students, that is marks of the 3 students. So if we calculate the mean of these 3 students, so mean is same for the all 3 students. So from this mean or the central value we can conclude that the IQ of first student is same as the IQ of second student is same as the IQ of the third student. Means IQ level of all three students are same. But if we saw their marks, the mark for student 1, all marks are identical, means the values are not all scattered. The marks for the second student are all different but are not scattered very much, whereas for the third student the marks are very widely scattered. Means for the student 1 all marks are same, but for the student third his marks are scattered largely. Means for one subject he got only 20 marks and for another subject he got 95 marks. Means here large scattered in their marks. So it becomes necessary to study some other characteristic to get precise information about the distribution, and one of such characteristic is a dispersion. So dispersion is the extent to which distribution is stretched or squeezed or observations are scattered or dispersed from the central value, and this variation is called as a dispersion. Means in measure of central tendency, all the values are distributed, all the values are gathered here. Means all these central values, middlemost observations, are known as the measure of central tendency. Means in measure of central tendency we studied this part of the data. Now in measure of dispersion, suppose the diagrammatic representation is, we have to check how the data is dispersed or how the observations are vary. Means the observation may lies in this interval or observation may lies from this point to this point. Means we have to check their scatteredness. Means all these observations may be distributed all over this shaded area and we have to study that area. Means measure of dispersion is, we have to check the extent of distribution is stretched or squeezed, or we have to check the scatteredness of the data. So our next topic is measure of distribution. Now what are the requisite of good measure of distribution, good measure of dispersion? So the first requisite is it should be rigidly defined. Rigidly defined means it should have clear and stable definition. Second requisite is it should be easy to calculate and easy to understand. Means its calculation should be easy to calculate and easy to understand. Next one is it should be based on all observations. So all observations are considered. Next one is it should be capable for further algebraic treatment. By using this measure of dispersion we can calculate further algebraic treatments. It should be least affected by sampling fluctuation. So there should be least fluctuation. Last requisite is it should be least affected by extreme observations. Various measures of dispersion in common use are range, quartile deviation, mean square deviation and standard deviation. All these dispersions are called as absolute measure of dispersion because they possess same unit of the original data. It can be very well seen that this measure possess units and hence create difficulty in comparison of dispersion for two or more frequency distribution. For example, for a group of person, if we want to compare variation in height and variation in weight, so height may be in centimeter and weight may be in kg. Therefore, the comparison is not possible until a unitless quantity is available because height is in centimeter and weight is in kilogram. So we cannot compare that two data. Therefore, this comparison is not possible. Therefore, with respect to every such measure of dispersion for comparison is defined, and such measure can be obtained by dividing the measure by corresponding average, and such measures is called as coefficient of the respective measure of dispersion or relative measure of dispersion. So the difference between absolute measure of dispersion and relative measure of dispersion is absolute measure of dispersion are expressed in the same measuring units in which the original data are given. Suppose in original data height of a person is given, or weight of a person is given. So the absolute measure of dispersion is expressed in the same measuring units, that is in rupees, centimeter or kgs. But in relative measure of dispersion, it is the ratio of measure of absolute measure of dispersion to the appropriate average. It is the ratio of absolute dispersion to an average, and it is also known as coefficient of dispersion. The second difference is the absolute measure of dispersion can be used for comparison only when variables are expressed in the same units and the distribution have the same average size. Means if both the variables are expressed in the same units, then only we can compare the absolute measure of dispersion. Means height of a person. There are two data which gives the height of a person. Means for both the data there are all the values in which height of the persons or weight of the persons are given. Then only we can compare that two data. Otherwise we cannot compare it otherwise we cannot compare that data. For relative measure, variability of all kinds of distribution can be compared using relative measure of distribution, because relative measure of distribution is unitless quantity. Therefore, we can compare any kind of data by using the relative measure of dispersion. The example of absolute measure of dispersion is range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation and variance. And the examples of relative measure of dispersion is coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation and coefficient of variation. So the absolute measure is a measure of dispersion expressed in the same measuring units in which the original data are given. And relative measure is the ratio of measure of absolute dispersion to an appropriate average. So in today's lecture we saw how to draw quartiles by graphical method. The procedure is same as that of median. Means firstly we have to locate the quartiles on y-axis and then we have to draw a parallel line x-axis to meet the less than type ogive curve. So first we draw the less than type of ogive curve. Then locate the quartile values, Q1 value, quartile class values, that is Q1 class value, Q2 class value and Q3 class value on the y-axis. Then from these points we have to draw the line parallel to the x-axis which meet at the ogive curve. And from this point of intersection, then we have to draw the perpendicular line to x-axis, and this point of intersection of perpendicular line and x-axis are the values of quartiles, that is Q1 value, Q2 value and Q3 value. In this way we can draw quartiles by using the less than type of ogive curve. After that we saw box plot. So box plots are the graphical representation of numerical data through 5-number summaries. 5-number summary includes smallest observation, lower quartile Q1, median Q2, upper quartile Q3 and the largest observation. So to represent these 5 numbers we draw the box plots. So box plots can be drawn either horizontally or vertically. In this way we can draw the box plot. Then we saw our next topic is measure of dispersion. So dispersion is the extent to which distribution is stretched or squeezed or observations are scattered or dispersed from the central value, and this variation is called as a dispersion. Then we saw there are two measures of dispersion, absolute measure of dispersion and relative measure of dispersion. So absolute measure of dispersions are expressed in the same measuring units in which the original data are given. And relative measure of dispersion, it is the ratio of measure of absolute dispersion to an appropriate average. So in today's lecture we saw absolute and relative measure of dispersion. In next lecture we will continue with our next topic. Thank you.